All right. I think we are live. If I can get my microphone to work. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Fundamentally Sound podcast. I have a pretty good episode today. Short, simple, sweet. I got a special guest, my father, coming on a little later in the podcast to discuss some NFL and NBA news. But we got to start off with the intro. Yeah, y'all know how it goes. So without further ado, oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're in business now. All right. So let's not even waste any more time. We're gonna do pick 'em. Y'all know how it goes. Gonna share my screen here in a little bit. And get these images up for you guys. First one we got is a keep 3 out of the 8 on the screen here. So obviously going in order from left to right at the top first, we got Trae Young, Jamal Murray, Ja Morant, Donovan Mitchell, D Book, Bradley Beal, Cat, and Bam Adebayo. So we got a mix of positionings here. So I don't want to keep it to the positions. Like I'm not going to do guard, shooting guard, then a big. I'm just going to keep the best 3 on this list here. It's hard because Jamal Murray has been such a standout in the bubble, and it's hard to keep him out. But I just don't think that I think when we come back to regular basketball, I really don't think he's going to be doing that. I honestly can tell you guys, I don't think that he'll be that superstar player that he's playing like right now. I can honestly and openly say that I can boldly say that. Let's just start with that. But he has proven me wrong. Donovan Mitchell, same way. Him and Jamal Murray, I both said, a couple months ago that before the bubble even started, that they were probably some of the most overrated players in the league, obviously behind Paul George. Yeah, he's the most overrated player in the league without a doubt. But if I were to keep 3, let's start off with I think the easiest one on here. I think that's going to be Devin Booker. He proved it in the bubble. 8-0 with that Suns roster is pretty hard. And he managed to do that, averaging, I want to say, over 25, hit a game winner against the Clippers that was phenomenal. I'd voted best game winner of the season. So I'm definitely going to keep D Book. The next one is going to shock a lot of people, but I don't care because I really see not even potential in this guy, but I see what a lot of people don't. I'm going to pick Cat for number 2. I think Cat is looked down upon because of his character, or like for some reason when he got bullied by Jimmy Butler, everybody thought that he was a scrub. I don't know where that narrative came from, but I'm going to pick Cat. Easy 20-10, all-star for the last 2-3 years. Obviously he's playing in the modern day as a big man, able to spread the floor, set pick and rolls, roll to the basket, post up with his back to the basket, can defend at the rim. So, I mean, if he wasn't in the small town Minnesota market, like people would be looking at him as possibly a top 10 player in the league. So I'm definitely going to pick Cat number 2. The third one, and I think this is just preference. It's tough. I'm going to have to go, but it's either between Trae Young and Bradley Beal. In my opinion, I'm going to keep Trae Young. I think this is the reason why. I think his game translates to wins, if that makes sense. I think because of his ability to shoot consistently from beyond the 3-point line, like I'm talking Curry range, right? 40 feet easily. And his ability to play make, yes, he is a liability on defense. But if I'm going to keep 3 on this list and you want me to start a roster with one of the 3 or, all 3 on different teams, I'm going to start a franchise with Trae Young. I've said it once. I'll say it again. I think he's the next coming of Steph Curry. I really do. He is in a tough market with Atlanta, but they have the ability to sign a couple free agents in the next coming summer. So they're going to be scary to look at, especially to see what they do with this draft pick. So my 3, I'm going to go Trae Young, D Book, and Cat. Let me know what y'all think and y'all's preferred 3 or even y'all's best 3 in the comments. Next one we got is which lineup is better? Lineup 1 at the top here. We got CP, Michael Jordan, KD, Karl Malone, and Hakeem, the Dream, Olajuwon. And in lineup 2, we got John Stockton, Kobe, Bron, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille the Diesel O'Neal. All right, so the pictures kind of like throw things off because that's like rookie year Kobe. Let's just already assume that we're talking primes for every one of these people on each respective roster. Let's just go ahead and assume that right now. This is so hard. This is very hard. I think the top lineup has easily the best scoring lineup, without a doubt. Like, you're talking about Karl Malone, who's number 2 all time in scoring. Michael Jordan, arguably the GOAT. And KD, which is probably the best scorer we've ever seen in this game of basketball. And then match it up with Hakeem Olajuwon, who's basically automatic with his back to the basket. And then CP is going to give you 15. It's so hard because I want to go with Kobe and Shaq and LeBron. Like, you can't go against that trio, right? But I think the reason why I'm going to go with number 1 is because of John Stockton. Now, a lot of old heads are going to say, you know, John Stockton, one of the best point guards to ever play the game, and, you know, automatic assist, basically. Like, don't get me wrong, he was a great player. I give him respect for being that size and playing in a league, playing at a time in which, you know, people his size couldn't really do much. So I got to give him a lot of credit. And he was an efficient scorer. Like, I can't knock on that either. But I think if you put him in a lineup with LeBron James, any point guard who assimilates himself into a team with LeBron automatically has to take a reduced role unless you are a scoring first point guard. Kyrie, that's it. That's literally all LeBron's played with. That's been a score first point guard. Kyrie, right? Everybody else has had to conform to LeBron, right? So if you put John Stockton on a team with LeBron, both guys are pass first. I'm running the offense with LeBron. I'm sorry. He's 6'8", 250. So what does that do? That turns John Stockton into an off-ball player. That's ugly, to be honest. That's very ugly. And, you know, if you look at individual matchups, like, it's even harder to, like, say, oh, Shaq would outdo, you know, Hakeem, Kobe would outdo MJ, you know. So in my opinion, that is why I'm picking lineup 1, is because of John Stockton. Literally, he is the weak link on this team because, like I said, if you put him off ball, he's a liability. Because, I mean, yeah, he was an okay shooter. Like, he was a consistent shooter. But to put him as an off ball point guard, I just don't think that it would work at all. Plus, I mean, their lack of shooting on the perimeter kind of worries me too. Like, unless, I mean, even Charles Barkley didn't have that great of a perimeter shot. LeBron's is iffy at times, depending on which LeBron we're talking, which prime LeBron we're talking. And then even Kobe, he wasn't a spot up 3-point shooter. So the first lineup is definitely the lineup I'm going to take over lineup 2. But this was definitely one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. Last one here before we move on in the podcast. Start, bench, cut. We're taking prime Kevin Garnett, prime Dwight, and current Anthony Davis. Whew. Now, I know my dad's going to have some words for AD. We're going to save that for the remainder of the podcast. So please, Father, hold your comments. However, when we're looking at this, you're talking about prime KG and prime Dwight, who are probably the best defenders in their era, excuse me. It's so hard because AD has the best all-around game on here. So because of that, he has to stay. Like, has to, right? Best all-around game. I mean, you're talking about a guy who can compete for an MVP and can compete for a DPOY, right? He's a top 5 player in the league. Was Dwight ever a top 5 player in the league? Maybe. Was KG ever a top 5 player in the league? Maybe, depending on what era we're talking about, right? So with that said, AD is a lock. He's got to be a lock. Now it just comes down to who would you rather have between KG and Dwight? In my opinion, I'm not going to argue against the other, right? Because each individual brings their own skill set. Dwight, I mean, automatic 15 rebounds in his prime. He's dunking everything at the rim. And on top of that, he's blocking everything with his 40-inch vert at 7 feet tall. So I can't argue against that. KG, obviously, his mid-range sets him apart from Dwight Howard. His ability to knock down shots off the glass, mid-range, post fadeaways, I mean, it was exquisite, especially at his prime. But for the points I've already stated, I'm taking Dwight. I think I'm going to start AD because of his ability to spread the floor, be versatile, be, a complementary player, essentially. And then I'm going to bench Dwight Howard because of his ability to basically rebound over anybody. Athleticism was off the charts at his prime. And then his ability to defend was definitely top tier. And then I'm going to cut KG. It's a very hard cut, but that is what I'm going to go with there. So let me know what you guys think about all those picks, all those pick'ems. And oh my gosh, y'all are blowing me up. Okay. All right, here we go. So Hey Arms 435. I don't know who this. I probably do know who you are, but I'm sorry if I don't. You can put your name in there. He says Jamal Murray, Ja Morant, and D Book. I'm okay with Jamal Murray and Devin Booker for obvious reasons. This one is tough. I don't know if I can give this one to you because, in my opinion, I think Trae Young's a better player than Ja Morant right now. We'll see in a couple years, but currently I think Trae Young is the better player. You are right. You are right on this. The playoffs only matter. I will give you that. But once again, I don't think Jamal Murray in a normal setting in which you have to travel back and forth between cities, all that fun stuff. I just don't think he performs the way that he did in the bubble. We'll see how it goes next year. John, you're up. So he picks Cat, Bam, and D Book. Once again, I'm okay with D Book. I'm okay with Cat. I want to know your reasoning for Bam, though. I mean, obviously he's proven that he's a versatile player, but I want to know your reasoning behind that. My mom says Mitchell all day. Ma, it was 3. You're supposed to pick 3. 3. Okay, so who else? Donovan Mitchell and the other 2. Okay, Paul George is still a bucket. He just ain't feel like playing. I'm not even going to address this because I addressed it last podcast. He's a bum. Let's see. My mom and John both agreed on lineup 2. I'm interested to see that. I think that's you, Dad, or Dante. I don't know who it is. Lineup 1, if Jordan and Chris can get along, 2 alpha males. True. That's a good point. Both alpha males in that situation. I have to agree with you on that one. But lineup 2 for John. I mean, I can see. I wouldn't argue. Like I said, it's the same thing with the start bench cut. I can't argue the lineup 2. It's just, in my opinion, I just don't like John Stockton in that lineup. I think he's the weak link. And then John also says start AD, bench Dwight, cut KG. Yeah, I think the great minds think alike, John. That's the reason why we're best friends. And then last but not least, John picked Bam in his trio because Bam plays defense and will clean up the boards if Booker's having an off day. I like it. I like your reasoning. If you're just now joining, I had to pick them. That's where we're getting all these comments from. John says Shaq and Charles will bully everyone. That's no cap at all. I really think Shaq would tear Hakeem Olajuwon up like completely. I really wish they could have played against each other because that would be very exciting to see. Very exciting to see. All right. So without further ado, let's bring on the man of the hour, my father, caregiver, all in one, Coach D. Dad, you want to give a little quick introduction?
Yes, thanks for inviting me back. As you know, I'm Nicholas' dad. I'm back again for another round. I've already done 3 of these so far, and I have enjoyed each one of them, and I love each one of the topics that you got. And I love your new opening ceremony, too, your new thing that you got there. I hadn't seen that one yet, so that's nice. The intro is nice.
I appreciate that, Father. I really do. I like that intro, too. We're going to definitely have to get some other videos going and see if we can spice it up even more. But without further ado, Dad, we're talking NBA Finals. As you guys know, LA advanced to the finals last night. Whew, sweet feeling. Very sweet feeling. LeBron's 10th appearance. Rondo's like 4th. JR, his 5th. Dwight's 2nd. I mean, we got a lot of experience, Dad. But yes. My question is, who is the better opponent for LA? So if LA, because we're both LA fans, I hope the stream knows that. Who is the better opponent for us in terms of us trying to win this championship?
I think it's going to be the Heat. The reason is because the Heat, I think, is going to bring out the bulliness in us. The Heat play really tough defensive-minded ball. They are very aggressive, and they are going to be best opponent because they're going to bring out the best in us. Boston has their ups and downs. Sometimes they pretty good about the outside shooting, especially as Jason Tatum get off. But pretty much they also wait and look at him shoot the ball and also drive and stuff. Brown sometimes get involved, but most of the time Tate on the other end, he will only get aggressive once they down and they need him. They need to learn how to get a better flow. So the best opponent to me would be the Heat because we will go in wanting to play out, knowing that we have to play all 4 quarters against the Heat, especially the second half and the fourth quarter. For
sure. I have to agree with you on all those points. I mean, the Heat are going to bring out the best in us. I think if we play the Celtics, they're a little bit softer of a team.
Yes.
So I definitely feel your point in which we would play down to their level.
Yes, we would. We definitely would. Everyone said LeBron. LeBron got that 10 NBA Finals experience. He knows that you got to go in the NBA Finals. You got to play hard every single second and minute.
For sure. It's tough. I think Boston is definitely the most talented team,
without a doubt.
Yes, if you match up 5 for 5 or even roster against roster, I think they have the most talent. However, yes, the better team is Miami, and I think I have to agree with you. I would rather play Boston because of the lack of depth, but I think you're right. I think Miami is going to actually bring out the best in us, and I would love to see a Bam versus AD matchup. Dad, I would.
Oh yes, that would be so exciting. It would be.
I would love to see it. But moving on to the next topic about the finals. Let's pertain to just the Lakers right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your opinion, what is the biggest strength for the LA Lakers?
I think the biggest strength they got is LeBron and all his championship experience. And he's a leader on the floor. And then, believe it or not, with his ability to come in and to guide the game, he knows when to take over a game and he knows when to sit back. But most importantly, he knows how to get the guys with all the experience that he got. He knows how to tell the guys, hey, look, we need to go do this. We need to put the gas on it. We don't need to back off. And then with the coach allowing him to do this, I think that gives the LA Lakers the biggest strength that they could have. And then secondly, they got Rondo. Rondo coming right after LeBron go take a break. Rondo comes in with experience also, and also with a knowledge up here. He has like a coach's mentality on the floor. He's a general, and he knows how to set up plays. He knows the mismatches, who's low. Except for the other night. The other night, he was trying to shoot some threes the other night, and he got a little out of sync the other night. He was trying to do maybe a little Stephon Curry the other night, but that's not his game. He needs to, I'm sure everybody whisper in his ear, hey, we didn't bring you in here for your shooting, just for your general knowledge and stuff like that. So.
No, that's facts. My heart drops every time he shoots a three. It's been consistent to a certain point, but every time he shoots a three, I get very nervous. I don't know. Well, I do know why, but oh gosh, I have to agree with you. I think Rondo. Well, let's talk about LeBron. I mean, triple-double, 30-point game. I think Daddy scored the last 7 points.
9 points. He did.
I mean, that's the LeBron we want every game. I know it's hard because you have to split the role with AD essentially as the alpha, but I mean, that's the LeBron we want to see. But I do agree with your point. I think our biggest strength is Rajon Rondo. Coming off the bench and being a manager of the game while LeBron is not on the floor is so essential.
Yes.
So essential. And, it's going to take him along with the rest of the role players to do their job going into the finals.
Definitely.
But let's talk opposite of our strengths. All right. So now this is where I let you have the floor and let you get what you've been holding back for a long time now. The Los Angeles Lakers' biggest weakness. Now, before you start, everybody in the podcast, everybody watching, I already know what it is. Okay. So if I don't have a reaction, that is why. Dad, the floor is yours.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments for this, but the truth sometimes hurts. Believe it or not, one of their biggest strengths is also their biggest weakness, and that's AD in the middle, being aggressive. AD is probably the most non-aggressive big man I've seen in a long time. Now, listen to me here good. Now, I know everybody start texting, hollering, and everything else. Yes, he's a good defensive player as far as when it comes to blocks. People going inside, he can defend the rim fairly well. But as far as bully ball, when it times on the offensive end, he's not there. I was watching him a couple times last night, and while LeBron was going off on his 9-0 run, which LeBron set up so well, I think the first five he was just going inside with the layups. Nobody could stop him. Nobody was doing anything, and then he set him up where they tried to converge on him, and then all of a sudden he had a wide open three, and of course he hit that dagger three to seal the game. But while he was doing all that, AD, well, I don't know if everybody was watching, was going in the corner of the 3-point line, deciding to take a little restroom break or maybe a snack break or whatever. But he basically went to the corner of the 3-point line, just waiting out there in the area out there and watching. He had everything out there but a chair and some popcorn. Now, this is your superstar. AD is a superstar. There's no doubt in my mind. He is a superstar. He is the number 3 player in the world, I think. Number 3 in the world. Oh. He doesn't need to be out there at that 3-point line watching a 36-year-old man do his thing. AD needs to be down low where those little, dots, those little dots down there, low down there, he might need some help down there, need some guidance down there. Getting ready to post up and make an easy layup. I don't know if anybody saw this, but the second quarter of last night's game, Dwight Howard came in and basically said, "Hey, come here. He was waving. Let's switch places. You come down low, I go up top." And sure enough, AD came down low. He went in and he did an easy layup, because he's 6'11". There's no one even close to him. And then the final thing I got is why I say that he's very weak on offense is because he could be dunking 9 out of 10 times. Instead, he tried to go down to a George Gervin. He tried to do a finger roll, a little off to the side, instead of coming down and just tearing the rim down. I think the world that we live in now, the generation that we live in now, Stephon Curry messed it up for a lot of these players. Everybody wants to be a Curry. Everybody wants to shoot the ball at the 3-point line, at the 3-point line beyond, at the half court. But what they don't know is Curry practices that. He practiced that. That's what he does all the time. He just don't go down and shoot at the half court like everybody else tried to do.
Right.
And everybody don't need to do that. A 6'11", almost 7-foot guy doesn't need to do that. No. He needs to go down low and get an easy basket each and every time, especially when there's no defenders that can stop him. I know somebody's going to say, well, Grant was down there. Who again? Who you say was down there? Who was down there? Mm-hmm. Grant.
Nah. Listen,
so yes, AD is their biggest weakness, without a doubt. On the offensive end, as far as bully ball, as far as getting down there. He can shoot a 3 once in a while. He can shoot a mid-range once in a while. But if he get down low, it wouldn't be a series. None of these would be series. It'd be 4-0, 4-0. I know everybody say, well, it's 4-1. Well, it was a difficult 4-1.
True. And I mean, look, before we even get to the comments, because you might be surprised. I do agree with you on the 4-1, the 4-0 thing, right? If AD doesn't make that game winner, we're 2-2 series, right? Or 1-1 series, yes. I'm sorry. And then we're down 2-1 because they win the next game. So it's a very difficult series when it didn't need to be. Now, before we get into the comments, I will agree with you. Biggest strength is our biggest weakness. I think if he understands that he has to come in with a different mindset, I don't know what it is. I think he's trying to conform to the new generation of basketball, like you said. I wouldn't necessarily call him soft. He's just trying to fit better with LeBron. I don't like it. Go down, you're 6'11", post up, do a drop step, dunk on somebody. Now, Dad, I'm gonna get you to the comments. First off, we got Coach James. All right, now he didn't comment in the YouTube because so I can't show it, but he said on the Facebook comment, he said, "Oh, Dwayne," he said, "Javon has some words for you." He said, "AD is the Lakers' savior." He said, "You have it actually mixed up. AD is the best player in the league." Now, I think AD and Giannis are Javon's favorite players, so I can see why he's on that side. But I mean, they disagree with you, Dad. They disagree with you,
and I don't disagree with them. They're totally right. I'm talking about a guy who is without a doubt a superstar, but I'm talking about he can take it to a level that nobody else can go to if he would just learn how to post up more, set himself up down low so everybody converge on him, and then he can go outside and do the threes and do everything else. But he needs to start down low first, then go outside.
For sure.
And he goes down low. Those 30-point games that he's been having could be 40-point games, could be a 50-point games. This series would not be a series. It would not be 4-1. It would be 4-0. It would be 20-point victories. That's what it would be if AD would just take it to the next level down low. He got hit a couple times by Grant. Nobody probably didn't see that. And it was a bully hit. Yeah. And it hit him pretty hard. He bent over. And after that, Grant did that to him. He should have went down low and did the same thing to Grant and then dunked it on him. That's bully ball. That's using your height to your advantage. If he learned how to do that and do that in this next series, this next series here, especially if they play the Heat, Jimmy Butler is going to be having some elbow action. Bam is going to have some elbow action.
Oh, man, and put the elbow in there.
AD better get ready. I'm telling you that now. AD better get ready for that. Now, like, I don't disagree with Coach James now. AD is the superstar. He is the Lakers, the future of the Lakers.
For sure.
But I'm talking about taking it to the next level. That's what he's missing out on by not going down low.
If they're going to win this finals, he has to be finals MVP. I'm just going to put it.
Yes. Yes. Without a doubt. Without a
doubt. We'll get into everybody else's. Coach James said, "LOL," to your little outburst there, Dad. But we're going to get to other comments so that we can, obviously give everybody a fair stage here. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. John said, AD against an aggressive, meaner Bam could be trouble for the Lakers. I think AD is worried about an injury, and Dwight being the bully down low has really helped. That actually is a fair point, especially the Dwight part. I think Dwight was an X factor in that series against the Nuggets, and that obviously paid him off well because he ended up starting the last two games. So,
right, exactly. Dwight, he was old school. There's no doubt about it. He went down there and he got into Giannis' head, not Giannis, but he got into everybody's head.
Yeah,
Jokic head, and basically was old schooling him. In his ear, in his head, give him a little extra push, extra bump, the best you can now, because you can't do that now in the NBA. You got to be very careful or you'll be out of the game.
For sure. Myles, my friend Myles, he said that AD was a guard first in high school, and he was until he shot up to like 6'11". So that's where he gets that guard mentality from. It should be gone by now, but to your point, yes, he was a guard first.
And Myles, I don't disagree. Yes, he was. Okay, he can use that guard ability to help him. Once again, I'm talking about going to the next level. For sure. If he learned how to dominate down low and be bully ball down low, Shaq-ish down low, oh my gosh, when he turns into the guard, everybody's going to be like, which way do we go? How do we guard him?
Scared, yep. Ma says AD ain't old school. He knows his big man role, but he doesn't want to fill his role. Yeah, he's playing like a true stretch forward. And then Myles finally said that he believes the biggest weakness for the Lakers is actually their shooting. That's a good point, too. I mean, we got very fortunate because KCP was hitting shots.
Yes.
Rondo was hitting shots. So
sure was.
That might be scary if we can't shoot the ball.
We got to shoot the ball without a doubt. Yes,
for sure. And then last but not least, Coach James has one final word for you, Dad.
Okay.
He says AD is a stretch big man, a former guard, a big man that can offer more than playing with his back against the basket. And I think to your point, yes, we understand, Coach James, that AD can play like a guard. But by all means, does he need to be doing that every time he comes down the floor and sits in the corner? No. Start the game off like my dad said. I think if he starts off with the game with 10 layups, dunks, like 10 points off these type of baskets, oh my gosh, that's scary. Because when he goes out to spread the floor, they're going to have to respect his drive. Right, Dad?
Exactly. And plus, he looked out that LeBron was on fire like that. Like I say, he did not need to be on the outside at 3-point line. He should have been down in there. It should have been a give and go or pick and roll with LeBron. Him and LeBron pick and low. And that's all day. You think Stockton to Malone was a good pick and roll? Oh my gosh, imagine LeBron to AD. Right. I mean, he should not have been out there on that 3-point line. You should have seen me. My wife was just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Look at AD. He's on the 3-point line in a chair. Get down low and help LeBron out."
Didn't make any sense at all.
It did not. But once again, he is a superstar, and the Lakers would not be where they at without AD. I agree with that all the way. I'm just saying what the man needs to do to take it to the Nets level, something that we never seen before.
Yep. I completely agree.
Because Shaq wasn't like AD. Shaq couldn't do, he could do partially what AD could do. He could go down sometime, dribble the ball down, but he wasn't nowhere near in the same lane as AD. But yet, Shaq versus AD, Shaq would just pound them inside and be lights out.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Hopefully he can fix that soon. All right, Dad. Going into the NFL, kind of getting away from the NBA for a little bit. We'll come back to it probably in the next week or so, especially when we find out who the opponent is going to be in the finals. All right. Going into NFL stuff. The Cardinals hype train. Now, they did lose today to the Detroit Lions. So I don't want to say like, oh, hey, they're 3-0. I don't want to speak on that. But they look good. Are you behind the hype, or do you think it's a little overhyped?
Right now, I think it's a little overhyped. They are without no doubt. They're on the road to being legit. They just got to know now. They've been losing so long. They got to learn how to win now. How to maintain leads when they get a lead. Run the ball. When to throw. The coach himself got to learn how to do things with a winning team now. They have the winning team now, but do they have the winning formula now? And that's what they got to work on now. That's the next step now to becoming a playoff team first, and then a champion. Is that they got to take all this talent, and then when they get a lead or when they get the hype, when the hype come to their head, so everybody say, "Oh my God, you seen Arizona? Oh my God, Murray? Oh my gosh, blah blah blah." Right. They got to learn how to take it to the side, and go out on the field and play ball. If they learn how to do that, yes, without doubt, the Cardinals is the next big team. But if they don't learn how to do that, they're going to be a paper team, a paper playoff team, a paper championship team. So that's what they need to do now, learn how to win.
For sure. I definitely have to agree with you. I'm not necessarily saying they're overhyped, but I'm not necessarily saying that I'm behind the hype train. I think Kyler Murray is a dark horse MVP candidate without a doubt, even though I think he threw 2 or 3 picks today. So let's just disregard that game. But I think the thing to think about that is their division. I mean, they're in a division with Seattle, San Francisco, and the Los Angeles Rams. That's a tough division. That's a very tough division. So do they escape that and possibly make a wild card? Maybe.
And the 49ers won today without half their lineup in the hospital, in the operating table. I mean, they basically playing with some scrubs on defense, but it's like I said, they have a winning mentality now in San Francisco. That's what I'm talking about. They know how to win, and whoever comes on the field joins in with that win mentality because they know how to do it. And whatever veterans they have left. Help the young players like they're doing now with the 49ers to win. And that's what Arizona needs to do now. But yes, Yes, it's going to be interesting the second half of the season when everybody play within their divisions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's scary because they can be so good. Like you said, they can be a very good paper team. But I mean, they have to get a winning mindset. They have to learn that, hey, we're not rebuilding anymore. We can win now. John said that they're overhyped, but can easily be 4-1 with the Panthers and Jets up next on their schedule. And then we have the questionable Cowboys. We'll get into the Cowboys in just a bit. So
just our defense, dude, just defense.
Yeah. And then the Cardinals have the Dolphins, Eagles, and Giants later in the year. So they could easily come out with a good win-loss record. But once again, I just think that division is just, I don't know how they're going to escape out of it, but we shall see that.
Well, they need to win now before they start within the division because they need to get a winning record before they go in. Because when they go in there, it's going to be sharks and they're waiting for them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right. So I hate to do it, but I know they're the hometown favorites over there. But you got to talk to me. What is going with the Falcons? Like, what is going on, Dad? Talk to me.
Well, I was watching some of the game today, and I was listening to the analyst that was talking today on the game, and he got asked the same exact question. And his response was, at this point, it's mental weakness. The Falcons are mentally weak. And because of that, when the fourth quarter comes in, and you have a lead, sizable lead, you have to learn how to put your throat on opponents. And Atlanta has a long history of not doing that. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of New England. New England, Belichick, if he goes into the fourth quarter with a 20-point lead or a 25-point lead or a 30-point lead, he still continues to throw the ball down the field, to run the ball, or do whatever his weakness. If the opponent can't stop the run, he continues to run. Opponent can't stop the throw, he continues to throw. And then at the end of the game, they say, oh, he's running up the score. The other coaches complain, I can't believe Belichick ran up the score on us. I can't believe Belichick keeps doing this. He's bad sportsmanship. No. If you don't stop him, he just keeps going. If your defense don't stop his offense, that's not bad sportsmanship.
Yep.
He puts the throat on the opponent and crushes them. Mm-hmm. And that's what the mentality what the Falcons missing. And where that goes back to, the head coach. Whoever comes in there, they have almost a Super Bowl type offense. Oh, yeah. Now, the total opposite for the defense, of course.
Completely.
But if they can get a coach that can come in there and teach these guys how to win and destroy opponents when they have a lead and just destroy any hope for an opponent. You have a 20-point lead, all of a sudden you have a 30-point lead. You have a 40-point lead going to the fourth quarter. You know what? Let's make you a 50-point lead going to the fourth quarter. And that's what they're missing. They mentally are weak.
For sure.
I feel sorry for all the Falcons fans. Last week was devastating because usually the Falcons fans pick on themselves. They say things like, oh, I can't believe those Falcons. Oh, I can't believe those Falcons. Oh, that's us again. Blah, 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 blah. Last week, it was crickets chirping.
Yep.
It was quiet all around. They were speechless. I can't wait to see tomorrow. Tomorrow, boy, they might not show up to work, to home, answer phone calls. They might just go away forever. Mental weakness. That's what's wrong with them. Mental.
I mean, to give context, everybody, I think they were up 26-10 today to the Bears. Nick Foles comes in the game and completely just demolishes their defense. In my opinion, I agree with you 100%. I think their offense is like top 3 in the league. If you look at it from an outside perspective, looking down at it, like they have a top 5, top 3 offense easily. If Julio played today, like it would have been even worse, right? But It's their defense. It's their defense. And I think John hit it here on the mark, Dad. And I think it attests to your point as well. Coach got to go. Coach got to go. He might be a great guy, but he might be a great guy in the locker room. But as far as game plan, like you said, about putting a foot on the throat and keeping it there and gassing it 100% all the way to the final buzzer, like that I guess Quinn is. I guess he's that nice guy. I think he's that nice guy who feels bad for the other team. Like, hey, let's ease up. Let's just run the ball. Yeah,
definitely. And you can't go in thinking like that. And Quinn's a defensive coach too, so I'm very disappointed in him on that end.
Clearly
he's a
not.
defensive man. And to be fair, they did lose Gage today. They didn't have Julio today. So they had missing some of their weapons, but they still scored 30 plus points. So it is, and they need some attackers on the defense. They need some more pass rushers too. I think that helped too, and blitz a whole lot more in the fourth quarter instead of just playing prevent. I think they play prevent in the fourth quarter. Just go ahead. We'll let you. Yeah, go ahead.
Take the
you get those 20 yards at a time. Go ahead. Yeah. We up by 20, so you go ahead and get your 20 yards at a time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
we'll see. I hope they turn around because it's very ugly, especially in a division in which New Orleans and Tampa Bay are definitely going to be battling for a top spot. They need to turn around fast. All right, Dad. Last one before we jump on the Cowboys and start to get our feelings hurt.
Yeah,
I know. The biggest takeaway from today's slate of games. I don't know if you got to watch a little bit of it. But your biggest takeaway from any of the games that you saw today, it can be players, it can be coaches, it can be teams overall. What's your biggest takeaway?
I'm sorry, but give me a little bit on this one, a little while on this one here. I got to take you in because of what happened. Because of it is Russell Wilson. He is no doubt right now the MVP of the league. 5 touchdowns.
Easy.
Again. He threw a touchdown today. That last one today was a running duck. Was a duck. It was like a mile before it went to the player. And the Cowboy defensive back, I just don't know. What were you doing? You could hear the ball coming before it was coming. It had wings on it. That was a duck.
Oh, yeah.
And they scored.
Yep.
So, but getting back to the topic, it's Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is just on fire now. He has every aspect of the game now. The game is slowed down for him. He knows when to rush. He knows when to get rid of it. He knows when to chuck it down the field. He knows when to use his checkoffs. He knows when to hand the ball off. And he is without any doubt right now MVP of the league. So that's the what my biggest takeaway from today's game, that he proved it today. A lot of people think that Josh Allen is also doing well too. But we're going to see when the cold weather comes in with him. And then the last take I got on it is the Jets are the most horrible team I ever seen in a long time. And why is their coach still the coach? The Jets are horrible. And yet the owner came out 2 weeks ago and said, this is the best offensive-minded coach I have ever hired.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Gase needs to go. I don't know what's going on in New York, but
yeah. And when you got an owner that think like that, that's why the Jets are the Jets. When you got an owner that thinks like that.
Yeah, they're awful.
He hired the best offensive mind in the business.
Yeah, they're god awful.
They're horrible.
Just terrible. Both points are valid. I think, yes, Josh Allen is good. I am not behind the hype train just yet. Second, Russell Wilson is a man amongst boys right now. And I don't know. He's nice. That's all I'm gonna say. He's nice. I think my biggest takeaway though, Dad, is, and I'm actually happy to say this, not happy, but I'm just so thrilled because yes, we're 1-2, right? But I'm so happy the Eagles look terrible. The Eagles are bad. Carson Wentz is bad, and I love to see it because the Dak versus Carson argument can finally go down the drain, and I'm so happy. But that's my biggest takeaway is that they look bad. Yes, we are struggling, but we are losing close games. We are putting up 40 points a game. But the Eagles, my gosh, man, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, they got no offensive line and they got no receivers. I mean, Jackson is, I think he's 55, turned 55 tomorrow or 56 tomorrow. So he's past his prime and he's their number one option on receiving end. So, and then Ertz is he's crying tears because he didn't get a contract. So, yeah. So.
I love to see it. We need to fix some things, but they need to fix a lot of things. So
yes,
I'm
they do.
So overjoyed. All right, Dad, last topic here of the NFL, and then we're going to wrap things up. We lost a close one. You already kind of went into detail about what happened at the end there, but overall, what is our biggest issue?
We got to clean up that defense, without a doubt. We have to clean up the defense. We need a strong, once again, mental. It's mental again on that defense. Need somebody on that defense who comes in, who plays tough, and makes everybody else play tough. Sean Lee used to be that guy that he could do, not physically wise or anything like that, but mental wise. He could do. He was the coach. He was the coach on that team, and he got everybody in the right spots. Got everybody up when they was down. Got everybody in the right positions to attack and had an attack mentality. And we're just missing that player on the defensive end. And then Dak and Zeke, they need to come in right away and dominate. We know what you can do, but don't wait till you get 30 points down to start doing it. Just do it right off the bat. Just come in and say, you know what, we're going to get the 20-point lead. We're going to get this. Not you. Just come in right away. Dak need to attack every time. Run, pass, run, whatever. Attack every time. The fourth quarter Dak need to be the first quarter Dak. And but we're a gentle team too. Mm-hmm. We're not like the Falcons now. We're not that. But we need some mean-spirited guys in there. And I mean that in a nice way. Need some guys in the locker room that say, we need to go out and dominate today on the defense end. We need to go out and crush them. When we're playing offense, just bury them right off the bat. Zeke, I want you to come in right off the bat and go ahead and get your 90 yards on the first play or whatnot. Dak, I need you to go in and get your 100-yard passing right off the bat. That's what we need to do. So we can just take care of that defensive end, that defensive first, which is McCarthy. He's an offensive coach, so he better get started on. He better get on his defensive coaches right now and say, hey, this got to stop. This got to stop right now. And because guess what? We still got a chance to make the playoff because we're in the NFC East.
Yeah, the worst division.
Yes. 7-9 get us in. So we got to work on that.
I agree with you 100%. Our defense needs work. We can't keep allowing 40 points a game. Our secondary looks confused. Our middle linebackers are not even our middle. Our linebacker core is completely injured. Sean Lee just needs to hang it up by now. And then our biggest strength is our D line. Alden Smith looks good. DeMarcus Lawrence looks good. Our D line looks phenomenal, but something needs to happen in that back area or that back group.
Yeah, because when you can't stop a duck from coming.
No, that's
a duck. It was a duck.
And it was a back shoulder. So he was running to his left, or he was like
it was quaking. It was it was the most ugliest touchdown throw I ever seen in my life. And it was perfect too. It was accurate. It was a perfect touchdown. Mm-hmm. But the ball was just all over the place.
Yep. It was weird because when he threw it, I was like, "Oh, he's either the way the ball was moving. I thought he threw it out of bounds. I was like,
I thought they could intercept it. I said, "Oh my god, he just threw a up a grab ball. Oh my gosh."
I was like, "Oh man, looks like it's gonna be a 50-50." And I see DK Metcalf walking into the end zone. I'm like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
I tell you, we got some things to work on for sure. The other thing too is at the end of the game, I don't know if you saw the last play of the game, well, the last offensive play for us. Dak got away from a sack, and then he just threw it up and for a 50-50 ball, but like he could have easily just ran up for 5-6 yards, get out of bounds. All right, we got a whole new fresh set of downs. Got about 8 seconds left to throw a reasonably good ball. But once again, his decision making when it comes to him forgetting that he can run the ball, he always forgets.
He's a big man. I agree with you.
I don't know why he fails to realize that he's that big and he's that athletic. But
yes, you're right. You're right. In certain spots, like he did with the Falcons last week, he didn't play around. When he had 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and he just ran in there. He's a big physical guy, and he needs to use that to his advantage. You're right. He should have ran for that first down, and he can run a lot more, and that'll set him up. Guess what? That sets up for him to throw because he got a spy looking at him, but he can always use Zeke and use his outlets and use his talent ability to start missing up the plays where he can know when to run, and you're right, and then know where to throw.
For sure. We shall see how it turns out next week. Yeah. Hopefully we can
get that shirt on though, Dak, and you should be getting paid. Jerry, pay the man. Pay the man.
Back-to-back 400-yard passing games.
Pay him.
Almost single-handedly let it come back. I don't know where the money is, but they got to give it to him. All right, Dad. That is all we have for today's episode. Appreciate you coming on. Had some good hot takes. Appreciate everybody that tuned in and stayed to the end, and everybody else who jumped on in between. We will be back hopefully next Sunday with some more news. If not, I'll try to hop on earlier and see if we can do some type of like finals prediction episode. So we shall see. But Dad, last thing before we go, let's do both scenarios. Let's go LA versus Boston, your prediction. And then you're going to go LA versus Miami prediction. So series count.
Oh, okay. Yeah. LA, Boston. I think it'd be a 4-1 without a doubt. 4-1. LA Heat 4-2.
Solid. I like it. We will do a more in-depth analysis of that depending on who the opponent is. Other than that, you got anything else for the listeners and the viewers?
Much love. Spread the love, care for one another, and be blessed.
Thanks, Dad. All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Later.